We need government to change the laws, to toughen some of the penalties that are out there. But we also need consumers to do their part as well, because if we can help reduce the risk of cars being stolen while manufacturers are updating the standards, while the borders are being addressed, and while law enforcement are trying to do their part by cracking down and doing their investigations, all the better. So that's why we're saying to consumers that even though we don't want to put the blame on the end user, they need to do certain pieces as well. And for example, one of the things that we've seen is that in our surveys, only about 80% of Canadians actually lock their car doors. So we talk about some of the things we ask consumers to do. We're not asking necessarily for them to spend a lot of money, but change their habits. Because if you leave your car doors open, you're essentially giving them a bit of a gateway to walk right in and take that car. Auto theft is happening around the world. Part of what the challenge is right now is that there's some of the laws or some of the processes in Canada are a little more relaxed than where they are in other parts of the world. So, while Canada is really focused heavily on watching what comes in through their borders, they're less so watching what's leaving their borders. So it actually makes it easier for thieves to grab vehicles and get them to other markets. And we've seen this in other parts of the world. So Canada's not the only country facing issues with auto theft, but it certainly is right up near the top right now. And it really comes down to protecting the vehicles themselves, holding manufacturers accountable to make the cars tougher to steal, but then also working with Canada Border Services, because once they're in the ports, they're very hard to get out from the ports. And if we can make sure that those vehicles are not leaving the ports by having more manpower there, that's important too. That's huge. Regardless of what type of car you have, I mean, the two things that are easiest to resolve are, number one, lock your car doors, and number two, don't leave it idle. Even if you're running back inside for 10 seconds to grab a cup of coffee or something you forgot, turn off the car. If you're going to get a cup of coffee to store, don't leave it running right outside, because by the time you walk in that door, somebody may have taken that crime of opportunity and driven off with your car. So there's a few things that people can do both at home and when they're on the road. So, one thing we can recommend is that you look at a steering wheel column, steering wheel lock, the club, using that as an option, because it is a bit of a deterrent. It will not stop thieves fully, but it will take them considerable time to break that open. So again, if they're working in a matter of seconds and minutes, that's a good deterrent when you're on the roads. If you're at home and you have multiple vehicles in your household, think about using the lesser valued vehicle and putting that closer to the street, because then you essentially block in the cars. At the same time, as we're in the fall season or heading into the fall season, if your if your garage is not being used to store your car, now's a great time to clear out that garage and put your car inside there. These are easy solutions to look at.